What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Test Your Might, the weekly video game debate show. My name is Mike, and today we are going to be discussing the Sony State of Play, Dead Space Remake, and the top 6 sound-designed games. But first, let me introduce the panel. We got none other than the Mafia Lord himself, Stubby Stan, a.k.a. Cicero Holmes. How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty great. Say happy birthday to your mother for me.
Thank you, I will. And I will try to reciprocate that. I'll have her say happy birthday to you.
All right.
All right, cool.
All right.
But I won't say
behind the curtain.
I'm not going to say
Yeah, peek behind the curtains. Mike's mother, the Mrs. Mike's mother has the greatest birthday of all. She shares one with yours truly. So
yes.
About the same age too.
Yeah, we actually may be. No, I think she's a little. She's slightly older than me.
She's older.
She's slightly older than me.
I mean, but I'm pretty sure you were 25 when the first Star Wars came out,
I was 25 when I was 25 when Star Wars came out. I was 25 when your mother was born.
Yeah,
so.
Sure. Justin's back. How you doing today, Justin?
I'm doing fantastic. This feels like deja vu to me, honestly. But you know what? We're doing great here. No problems over at the Duckland. And Cam, I'm so glad to have you back up there. And we're going to keep doing this.
Speaking of no problems at all, Cam, welcome back to your 6th episode now. Cam, how you doing, man? Cam Hawkins, welcome.
I'm doing great. I know that Mike has been stressing out because this is the 6th time we've technically started an episode with this being the 2nd time it's actually gonna be on record. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed on that. Knock on wood.
Don't jinx it. I'll be right back.
But
we have backups upon backups.
No, it's all good. Like, you know, I'm always down to come on and talk video games. So,
right on.
Well, anyway, thanks for joining us again, Cam. Listeners, please leave us a review on any podcatcher that you are using. If you're on Spotify, you could leave us a rating of 5 stars or any stars you want, but it is only mobile only. So make sure you use the mobile app to do that. And if you're watching us on YouTube, please leave a comment, like the video, as well as subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 100 subscribers, so we could get that custom YouTube link. So would really, really appreciate that. A little bit of housekeeping. We have reviewed the latest Scream 2022. Me and Justin did. Spoiler alert, it's really good. So go check out that review.
It was terrible.
And check out the movie. No, it's the worst movie ever. We'll also be reviewing The Batman with friend of the show, Chris Clow. So that's coming up too this week. Probably at the end of the week after this episode releases. It's recording now. Anyway.
I'm lost now. I'm confused.
Yeah.
Confused both the old men.
Hey, all right, Cicero, you could start. Mike, you could continue the housekeeping.
So all right, I'll continue the housekeeping by saying 2 things. First, I don't know if Mike realizes this, but today we're going to discuss the Sony State of Play. We're going to talk about the Dead Space remake and the top 6 sound design games. But first, before we do that, we're also going to give a shout out to last week's guest from the Infinity Brothers. If you guys didn't see the Infinity Bros guest spot here on Test Your Might, it was awesome. You need to go ahead and check it out. It's going to be in a link somewhere over here in the YouTubes. But we will also be on their show coming up real soon.
Oh, yeah.
I think Mike and Justin are going to go on there and debate the MCU topics. Like, you guys are going to do like MCU movies and that kind of stuff since they came and debated video games here. So I think that's going to be awesome. So I'm looking forward to eating some popcorn and checking that out.
All right. Well, thanks for finishing housekeeping for me. You did a phenomenal job.
Oh, thank you.
And now I know we've had the Infinity War brothers over here. And we wanted, but we wanted to give Cam a chance to answer a question as well. For the section here,
I'll see you guys later.
For the section Guts here, if you were on a desert island, Cam, and you could only choose one series of video games. You had internet available. What would you choose?
I mean, yeah, like it's on brand. It's a boring answer, but it's Kingdom Hearts. Like,
nice.
Come on now.
Nice.
Gotta have Kingdom Hearts, and
I'm so glad I'm
taking control again. Cam, let's use this as a segue to let our listeners know about your new podcast, Unlocking Kingdom Hearts, right? So yeah, let us know about it.
Yeah, Unlocking Kingdom Hearts is a podcast I'm doing with Jonathan Dornbush, who is the host of Podcast Beyond over at IGN, the PlayStation podcast. Beyond. Alexa Ray Korea, who is a narrative designer at Sledgehammer Games, who wrote for Call of Duty Vanguard, and you might know her previously from What's Good Games with Andrea Renee, Brittany Brombacher, and Steimer.
Yeah.
And she also wrote a book on Kingdom Hearts 2 through Boss Fight Books. If you've heard of that publication, where they get people to write about different video games, which is a really cool publication. Like, there's sometimes where they have the creator of a game write the book for them, or just someone that is a very very knowledgeable about that specific game. And she wrote a book on Kingdom Hearts 2 a while back. So go give that a read. You can buy that book on Amazon. Yeah. It's literally just called Kingdom Hearts 2. And Kevin Diaz from PlayStation Source, and basically the podcast is, we're, at least for right now, this is the base goal. I've always had people be like, "Oh, have you thought about continuing the podcast after this?" And I'm like, well, let's see where we go, But what we're 100% committed to is we're going to be playing through each Kingdom Hearts game, talking about what we love and don't love about it. Me, Jonathan, and Alexa, I think we could define ourselves as experts of the series, while Kevin is a newbie who really wanted to get into the series. So about a few months back, I'll probably say around November, December time, maybe even earlier than that. I was thinking about trying to turn this idea into a real thing, and it's finally out. We have episode 0 and episode 1 out. Episode 1 focuses on the first game, Kingdom Hearts. I think that with the Xehanort saga being over and a new saga about to begin, and basically all the games, at least their story elements, are available on modern platforms now, including PC, that there's really no reason not to get into it if you've ever been interested enough into trying it out. And I think that this podcast, at the end of the day, I wanted it to serve as a companion piece, something that if there's certain things where that you may not understand, or things you may not have caught, or things like that, this podcast may help with that. We try and provide fun facts and talk about the very main themes of of the games as we go along, and things like that. So yeah, it's something that I'm super excited about, and it is something that we're trying to release an episode. You won't see us release an episode any sooner than every other month, or not every other month, every month, because we need time to play that among other games that are coming out this year. So it's going to be a lengthy timeline to get all these episodes out, but we would like to get them out within a year's time. So Unlocking Kingdom Hearts is on all your podcast services, and there is a video version as well if that tickles your fancy.
Kingdom Hearts 2 is the shortest. That title of that book is the second shortest title in the Kingdom Hearts franchise after Kingdom Hearts. Every other game in that franchise, you need an advanced math degree in order to understand.
Honestly,
they're all math equations.
Yeah, when he said Desert Island game set, I was just picturing somebody sitting on the island and then just getting the next title sent to them and they have no idea what it's going to be called, and then just getting blown away by 358 divided by 2 days, and they're like, I just want to play number 3.
Where's 3?
Well, and that's what Cam's podcast is all about.
It's a lot of story.
He's aware.
Yeah, it's a lot of story, and it's really good story. So Cam's going to do good, I'm sure.
All right. It's time for What Have You Been Playing? Cicero, go ahead, my friend. What have you been playing?
Oh, I have been playing Sifu. Sifu is a fun game, but it is a hard game. But it is a fun game. Like, you should definitely play it. And if you haven't gotten a chance, every game is a great game for what I'm about to say. But Sifu, if and when it finally does come to Game Pass, because it is not available on Xbox currently, my assumption is because it's not available on Xbox currently, that when it does come to Xbox, it will be on Game Pass. So
if it does,
if it does, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's on PlayStation, it's on PC, so, and it's Devolver Digital, so I would assume that at some point it'll.
Is it Devolver Digital?
Oh no, it's not Devolver. I don't think they're publishing it. Let's see. Sifu is being published by Slow Clap.
Slow Clap and Microids,
Microids. So sorry about that. Yeah, so yeah, actually I don't know if it's going to come to Xbox, but I'm assuming that it will at some point. and if it does, or when it does, that it'll be coming directly to Game Pass.
Calling it now, apparently.
Yeah, I'm calling it.
Just because you're on an episode with the Duck doesn't mean you can make prophecies, okay?
Oh, all right, yeah, right. I have shown you the way, right? I can no longer prognosticate. So the thing is, though, it's a really fantastic game that not enough people are playing. It is already on my list of Game of the Year. So we'll see what the rest of the year holds for us, but yeah, I'm enjoying the hell out of this game, and really wasn't expecting to like it as much as I do. What else am I playing other than that? Games that I'm playing are games that shouldn't be a surprise to anyone if they've been listening for the last few weeks. NBA 2K, Madden. Just some games to pass the time, a little bit of Lost Ark. There was the great story last week of mine and Duck's VR experience, me party fouling. That story is accurate as it was told. And there were some things that were left out, but it was a fun time was had by all. We kept playing. I kept playing even after Duck's headset batteries died. Mm-hmm. So,
well, there you go.
But then my batteries died like 2 minutes later, or they were getting ready to die like 2 minutes later. So I got off.
We're both old. We forgot to charge them.
Right, exactly. So the one game that I'm not playing, or I didn't play, that I was planning on playing today, is No Man's Sky, because the game that I can no longer play, or I don't know. The news is Frontier Developments, my favorite game, Elite Dangerous, if you've been listening to this show, was available on console and PC for a very long time. They came out with a piece of DLC called Odyssey, which allowed people to walk around on planets and in space stations. Was available for PC, was released for PC with problems. They decided, they being Frontier Developments, that they were going to continue to work on fixing those problems, and also and subsequently delay the release of the console version of that DLC. And they just came out this week and said that they're no longer making the console version of the Odyssey DLC, and in fact they're concentrating all their efforts on Odyssey going forward, which means that there will be no updates to Elite Dangerous in any other form other than Odyssey. So that means that the console versions will not receive any updates outside of critical updates, And additionally, they wound up fractioning their PC community base for people with Odyssey and people without Odyssey. Those two groups couldn't play with each other, even though they shared information between the two.
Really?
They're no longer updating the PC version of non-Odyssey PC version as well. So, I mean, I'm thinking that game, like, there is a lot of dismay and disappointment, like kind of not good feelings with a group of within the Elite Dangerous community about the long-term projections of the game. So I wanted to try No Man's Sky because their updates, the community seems to really, really enjoy those updates.
Yeah.
Versus the Elite Dangerous group.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Hope you enjoy it.
Yeah.
Should be fun. Justin, what have you been playing?
I just want to say, Cicero, if you want to get in No Man's Sky, I will gladly reinstall and start over with you because I love that game to death.
Oh, okay.
So if you want, now that multiplayer is a thing, not back when it first came out, I'm down.
It's on Game Pass.
Yeah.
It is.
And I think, you can play it in VR. I don't know if can you play it in
Steam VR.
Steam VR?
Yeah, Steam VR.
Oh, okay, not just PSVR.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
I'll just play regularly. We don't have to play VR if you want. But I've been playing a little game known as Elden Ring.
Never heard of it.
Still has hooks in me. First Dark Souls game I've ever played.
I think I saw that on Twitter once.
Right.
All over every single social platform. I do want to say, for a game that's supposedly hard, it does have its moments. But once you get the hang of it, it's not as bad as people say it is. This game is a little bit easier, in my opinion, from what I've heard the other games have been. So I do think that it has a little bit more leeway for the newcomers.
You need to be careful because I do not want this podcast to, get Dark Souls hate.
Hey, I'm enjoying every moment. I have friends that are like, "Hey, here's a build you should go for. Here's a weapon you should go for." And that's not how I play games. I tell them, keep that to yourself. I go through, explore, enjoy it the way that I play it, and I'm doing pretty well. Yeah, I've died a lot, but I enjoy getting better and finally beating those guys. So it's a good time. Build it yourself, enjoy it.
Awesome.
That's how I play games. Other than that, I've been playing. What's up?
Oh yeah, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
No, what you got?
Oh no, I was gonna say that what I've heard about Elden Ring is that it is more accessible. It's the most accessible Souls game. Out. So we won't get Dark Souls hate. We won't get Souls like hate because what Justin, as per usual, speaks true.
Other than that, I've been playing Minecraft. My daughter has gotten into survival mode finally. I've got her in regular, easy, normal. And then today she was like, I don't want to play that world. Let's make a new one. And I was like, what difficulty? And she said hard. So I was like, all right, bro, let's go.
Inside, while she wasn't looking, Justin shed one tear.
Oh,
was like,
there was lots of tears coming down my... Definitely. I was the first one to die, literally. The pug inside baseball that I have jumped on me, and I looked away for 1 second, and then there was Baguette. I was dead.
And your daughter looked up at you. Your daughter looked up at you, and she was like, "Get good, Dad."
All right, Cicero. I'll bring the heat later on. All right, Cicero.
All right, Cam, what have you been playing?
Yeah, I mean, primarily it was Elden Ring for a while. I haven't finished it, but I think I'm at a place where I kind of want to step away from it and just focus on other games right now because there's some things that I want to take care of before it just gets more and more busy. I haven't even gotten a chance to start Horizon yet. I really want to finish the next Legend of Heroes game that is on my list because that's my main gaming goal is to catch up in that series this year. So I got 5 more games left there, and then I want to play Chrono Trigger because the Chrono Cross remaster is coming out next month, and I know they're not that linked together, but I still would like to play it prior. So yeah, there's a bunch of things I want to play before going back to Elden Ring and again hopping into Horizon and all that jazz. So yeah, Elden Ring is the main thing, and of course I'm playing through Chain of Memories. I'm playing the Game Boy Advance version because that version is, in my opinion, is way better than the PS2 remake that they did. I'm trying to think about it. Oh, and then I played a little bit of Persona 4 Ultimax, Arena Ultimax, which is the re-release that's coming out this week. If you are interested in getting that one, I like, if you like Persona or like you want a good fighting game, like that is a very good fighting game to this day. Originally released on the PS3 360 generation, but it holds up very well. Like there are some like balancing issues that are still present with characters, but it's still a very, very well made fighting game. And if you do decide to get it, I highly recommend picking up the PlayStation 4 version because there's specific features and modes that are only available in the PS4 version. Rollback netcode's coming out in the summer. That'll be coming to PS4 and Steam. But like Switch basically is getting the butt end of the stick where like unless you really don't care about playing online or anything like that, then I highly recommend not getting like the Switch version because it's gonna not be a good time. And it's also again like you're paying the same amount of money for like two different versions of the game technically, so it just doesn't make a lot of sense. So yeah, PS4 is the way to go.
Yeah, well, when is the Switch version of a multi-platform game the preferred version to get? Like
apparently Dark Souls Remastered.
The recommended version.
Apparently Dark Souls Remastered is because that is technically not a remaster, it's a port. And they made some changes, something with the game where like a lot of people say that like that is the better version because they didn't make the changes in that one. So yeah, I've heard that more than once. So
okay. All right. Well, there's one.
Yeah, I
think there's a lot of people who prefer like indie games on the Switch because they take it on the go.
Right. Yeah.
Like
I think
for
the
me,
convenience. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Sorry.
like for me, like I have, like for me, my Switch is for exclusives and indie games, and that's more or less it. There might be some instances where I'll pick up a version of a game on Switch over like. It has to be very specific, but yeah,
it's
I don't.
Rare.
It's very, very rare. But like, there are. It's one of those things. Like, if it's on Xbox, I'll get it on Xbox. But if it's only on PS4 and Switch, that's when I'm like, okay, let's see what the difference of the versions are. Like, does it run well on Switch? Like, or is it only going to run well on PS4? Like, those are the kind of things I have to look into before I decide. Yeah. Like for example, I want to get into the Atelier franchise, which is a JRPG franchise that's slowly becoming more popular in the West in recent entries. Atelier Sophia or Atelier Sophie 2 just came out like last month. That's the latest one. They dish them out pretty quickly, like once a year or every 2 years. And since the Switch has come out, they've ported like almost basically all of the games that released from like the PS3 forward have been ported onto PS4 and Switch. But only the Switch version got like Switch versions of the trilogies, because they released them in trilogies, got physical releases through like a specific retailer. So I was just like, I'm gonna go the Switch route because I looked it up and like, oh, the Switch version runs just fine, you'll get some very minuscule differences on the PS4 version if you went that way, but just knowing I can take it on the go and it's not a really demanding JRPG, I'm just like, I'll just get on Switch.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like that's the question people answer is like, does it run fine on the Switch?
Right. Does it
because it's not going to
yeah.
run better than the PS4, but majority of the time rather.
Right.
But does it run fine? So anyway, I've been playing Outer Wilds. That's all I've been playing. I've been wanting to try Elden Ring, but I am waiting for friend of the show Sean Rugg to hop on with me to help create my character, because as you guys know who's been listening, I just don't have a lot of experience with not only Soulsborne stuff, but also like RPGs as well. So, what?
I don't have any experience with that stuff.
Well, yeah, I know, but like I still want Sean Rugg, who is a master at these, is an expert in these style of games, kind of help me build a character that is going to help me have the quote unquote easiest route, easiest time or the most fun time, and I've heard that that's Magic, so I kind of want to see what type of character he'll help me build. But Outer Wilds, oh man, what a wonderful game. I love it. Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It is. I mean, I've never said this in my life, but I've ridden inside a jellyfish. I have been transported to several planets via sand.
Okay. Sands of time.
It's just
coarse
just amazing,
and rough,
the exploration.
It gets in everywhere.
Listen. I don't know if you've heard this, but the streets talk, and when they talk, they say that Sean Rugg don't miss.
Yeah,
and Sean doesn't miss when Sean tells you this game is great.
Yeah, and
you better believe it.
It's awesome. I'm hooked. So yeah, I'm really happy about my 2022 gaming goals in the sense of like sticking to one game, finishing it, playing it, and then moving on to another game, not having multiple things, just staying focused and playing more single player games. So
look at that.
All right. Let's get into the news. Yeah, look at me growing up. Let's get into the news. Cam, I'm going to go your way first because the Sony State of Play this week was JRPG heavy, it seemed. So
yeah,
we're gonna just go around the panel, kind of like talk about one thing, maybe two that were big highlights. But Cam, I want to start with you because they really poured the JRPG in this one.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the two big ones were like the two Square Enix titles that were announced at the end of the show. The Diofield Chronicle, which is like a new tactics IP that they are doing. Sorry, Final Fantasy Tactics fans. And which they've been kind of doing a lot of. Like we got Triangle Strategy that just came out. That's another game I need to get to. And they also announced Valkyrie Elysium, which is a new game in the Valkyrie franchise, which is the first one, I think, unless there was a mobile game that came out that I wasn't sure about, because I don't really touch mobile. I think it's the first one since the Nintendo DS. So it's been a while, and there's no real confirmation as to whether or not this is like a direct sequel or if this is going to be like a new cast, because like the past three games were Valkyrie Profile 1, Valkyrie Profile 2, and then Valkyrie Profile, and it had like some sort of subtitle that served as a prequel to the first game. So knowing that it's Elysium now instead of Profile, I think they're kind of just going now with like a Final Fantasy route where this is going to be a new cast with seemingly different gameplay, because the gameplay originally was kind of like... have you all played, or no? Do you guys know of the game Indivisible? It was like a AA game that came out like in 2019, I want to say.
Yeah,
I played Devil May Cry.
I think I've heard of it. Yes.
So basically, what it is like the combat. It's side by side, and each character was designated by a face button, and that's how the combat worked.
Really?
That's how Valkyrie Profile works. Like I think that originated from Valkyrie Profile, at least the first game. And I think that it seems that they're not going that route with this combat. I don't know, so we'll see how that evolves over time. But and it's worth noting that the Diofield Chronicle is going to be on all platforms. It's going to come to Switch. It's going to come to Xbox. While Valkyrie Elysium is going to be a PS5 exclusive for a certain amount of time. And so that's exciting. And outside of that, I think like the other ones that might have stuck out for me, I mean, Returnal was my game of the year last year. It getting a nice big update is cool. I don't know if it's gonna like, if it's what I want, where I'm just like, oh, I got to go back in right when this comes out, but it's still cool. And
I
Trek
wish
to Yomi.
Oh god,
Looks interesting.
I was gonna say what's interesting is out of all the state of play, the one thing that spoke to me the most should not be spoken about, and I feel like we've been talking about it for so long, but I wish I had a soundboard for this, but in a world where we get another trailer and still have no idea what the game is about and how much is in it. Forspoken is coming in March, and
it's not actually. It just got delayed to October.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. There you go. Yep. See, I say it, Forspoken already.
Right.
But it looked awesome. It did look good.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on, but it looks good. Returnal is the other one that I'm really excited about. I want to finally play that game, number one, and then
Gotta get a PS5.
yeah, I'll just go over to Uncle C's house. I'll play it.
Yeah, there you go.
Cicero, what stuck out to you here in the state of play? Anything?
Well, so Returnal's getting a co-op mode, right? So that's cool. Because one of the things that I heard about that game was that it's beautiful, obviously, and it was a fun game, but that it was very hard and very long for a roguelike. So I'm guessing that with an extra person to help you through it, that it would feel less long. So that's cool. One thing that I love about these Japanese showcases, right? And I kind of don't want to use the word showcase because so what I've learned is that Sony, when they do these state of plays, the state of plays are always third-party games that will be on PlayStation. And this one just so happened to be focused on Japanese games coming from Japanese developers. But they also have their showcases, and those showcases are the ones where they have their first and second party titles. That's where they're highlighting those titles. So I don't want to use showcase and confuse people now that I've already defined what the two differences are. But the fact that they highlighted all of these Japanese games, what I love about Japanese games is that they're just nonsense, right? And the most nonsense of the nonsense was Exoprimal, the game from Capcom, with so you watch the trailer, right? And they show a person in an exosuit, right? And then in that exosuit, they go from that exosuit and get into another exosuit to fight dinosaurs that have fallen out of the sky and have hit the ground unharmed. But somehow the weapons that you have
sounds okay
will destroy them.
Sounds legit.
Right? They've fallen 30 stories out of the sky. But your pew pew pews, that'll get them.
They got those calves and those leg muscles to,
Right.
Good.
It is, it all makes me giggle. It really does. And I love the fact that it makes me giggle because it's just nonsense. But people will play it. And my favorite game, my title of the year, Forspoken, gave us, like Justin said, another really beautiful trailer that keeps us all intrigued.
And confused.
I could not tell you for the life of me what that game is about.
Well, here's
Forspoken is Game Informer's cover for this month, so they have some cool stuff.
It's just a big question mark.
No, it's not that. Cam, what were you gonna say?
I mean, I know it's not like the same because there's precedent behind FromSoft's experience, but for Elden Ring, for the longest time we just knew that another Souls game is coming, and granted, what that gameplay is gonna be and stuff like that, but I feel it's coming out in October, and this is the game's first studio the studio's first game. And like from what I've seen, it does look cool, and I just think that like, you know, I think that them not showing gameplay is so far is fine, because you can get into a Deathloop situation really quickly where like you know we could see like in the next 7 months just every month just Forspoken gameplay after gameplay after gameplay, and then we're gonna be like, just release the game already, you know. Like there's still plenty of time where we can just, you know, it'll come when it'll come, and I'm not too worried about it. I'm very interested in this game because this is a game for many reasons that could be really, really great and surprise people, or it could be not so great, and you know, it'll be an interesting experiment for this, you know, new studio and what they're you know, and for the future. So, and because this is the last game, like the newest game to use the Luminous engine since Final Fantasy 15. It's been a while, you know. So and for like, you know, that is a divisive game, but I love Final Fantasy 15. I'm pretty sure it was my game of the year it came out. It had obvious problems, but I think that the engine and just kind of like what we've seen in comparison from Forspoken's gameplay and like how they kind of evolved it from what I've seen in Final Fantasy 15 with like the warping and like the kind of powers and stuff. I don't know. I think it's going to be really fun to play.
Yeah, at least from what I could tell, I love movement in games.
Oh, it's quick.
From what I've seen, is the movement looks phenomenal, looks clean, looks smooth. So, yeah.
You know, my worry is, I don't know if you guys have ever played pickup basketball in the park, but if you're there long enough, right, during a summer or whatever, there will be one guy who shows up in like all the freshest gear, right? Like he'll have the local team's jersey on, but he'll also have the matching shorts. He'll have like a headband, and he'll have the like real fresh kicks. Yeah. Right? And you know, he'll look the part. And then you pick him on your team and you realize all he does is look the part. That is my worry about Forspoken, is that it looks the part, but because we don't know anything, right? For sure. I'm afraid I'm gonna pick them for my team. And it turns out that, you know, they're trying to shoot with their feet.
Yeah. It can be like the opposite of Deathloop and with the other Bethesda exclusive, and be like Ghostwire Tokyo, where I'm still just like, this game's coming out next month, and I'm like, I know what this. Oh, sorry.
Right.
You got it. I don't effing know. I don't know what this game is. Like, I've seen a little bit of stuff, and I'm like, okay, that looks interesting now. But I'm like, what is this game? What is the story? What are we doing in this game? Like, I don't know any of that stuff, and that is like, and granted, like for me, even though it's coming to PS5 and I have a PS5, knowing that it's going to hit Game Pass in a year, I can wait. I did the same thing with Deathloop. I'm doing it with this game. Like, I can wait for it to hit Xbox. I know it's coming to Game Pass.
You talking about Ghostwire Tokyo?
Yeah, Ghostwire.
I can't wait for that.
Yeah, but still, it's just like, you know, I think that Forspoken is kind of more in the Ghostwire area right now of the spectrum, but again, there's 7 more months, and Square Enix with their, at least with their like Japanese side titles, which Forspoken is technically on the Japanese side, Luminous Productions, but like, so I'm not too worried about Square Enix not showing gameplay, right? Because it was kind of like the same thing with Guardians, which is another Square Enix, you know, published, sure, but they showed so much, like at the right when they announced it, and people were just like, "Oh, you're showing off way too much," and then like people just had really low, like mediocre expectations for that game, and it ended up being like a great game, you know. So it's really, you know, like there's always fair criticism to be cautious about things, but like, at the end of the day, unless it like looks obviously bad, or like people have previewed the game and said like, "Oof, like I don't know about this one," like normally I like to be pretty optimistic about games as they come out. I don't think this is going to be Babylon's Fall, is what I'm saying.
Oh my goodness, I watched the IGN review of that, and that game looked bad.
I previewed the game for IGN, and I was just like, woof. This if I had to review it, I don't know what score they ended up giving it, but like
they gave it a 4.
That's what I would have.
Yeah, a 4.
That's what I would have given it based off of what I played in the preview.
So it didn't get any better.
Oof. Oof.
All right.
Oof, right. That's the official. That's what a 4 is. It's an oof.
So I'm with you, Cam. I'm actually really excited for Ghostwire Tokyo, but it's obviously going to hit Game Pass, so I will just wait. I'm super patient. I've been patient enough for Deathloop, mainly because I don't have a PS5. but yeah, I'm pumped for the Cowabunga trilogy or collection. TMNT stuff, man.
Yes.
Like all the Konami games.
Yeah.
Like my biggest thing is that I'm a 90s kid. Those games came out in the 90s, maybe late 80s for one of them, I believe. And those games are hard for kids, man. And so I'm really excited to they're gonna have save states, I believe. They're gonna have rewinds in this collection, and some of those old games, that's the only way to really play them nowadays because they're just so difficult.
So hard.
They're the souls before the Soulsborns,
Yes,
those are called cheat codes.
I love that. I love that this is coming to like Switch specifically, because this is a Switch game written all over. Like, even though this is coming to Xbox, I'm gonna get this game on Switch because this fits like that indie, box for me.
Yeah,
that like sure. I never really got to play these games growing up. I'm also a 90s kid. And so for me, like, obviously I've heard such good things about like Turtles in Time and like how great that was as an arcade game. And I like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like, I've never been like, it's one of those things like I appreciate them and I like them, but I'm not like, oh, sorry, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I like Donnie is my boy. You got to go purple staff.
Your team
smart
Donnie.
nerd.
Okay.
Yep, 100%.
Team Donnie. Right.
Well, you had to be Donatello or Leonardo in those old games because they had the range with the sword and the stick.
Yeah, I mean, just from watching the movies and stuff, But yeah, it's just I like that we're seeing a bunch of these like retro collections happen, even if they're like not for me or I'm not as interested in them. I will always like get them because they're on Switch and it's like they're cheap, and I'm like, like the Disney ones that they did with like The Lion King and Aladdin and now Jungle Book. Like, I really hope they keep doing this because it's just a really easy, great way to get these classics on modern hardware. So.
Did you play DuckTales?
The original, like the NES version?
When they just remastered it.
They remastered it. I didn't. No.
Oh man, it's so good. Right? Did you play the original DuckTales? No.
I've heard the NES version is still like considered the best version, but like the remastered is still very good. Right.
The remaster it's basically like they just reshot it, right? Like they just kind of reinterpreted it. And it is pretty much 1-to-1. But man, guys, if you guys are platform fans, you gotta play that DuckTales game. You gotta play DuckTales. It was so good. Matter of fact, that was so good, and that Aladdin game, super good. Aladdin. Like those games. So on the NES, DuckTales, on the Genesis, like one of the best platforms was Aladdin, and then Lion King was also really good. But then on the SNES, yes, they were all hard. They were all incredibly hard. On the SNES, which is a game that we probably will never see remastered, is the Super Star Wars games. Oh. Those games were incredible. So like all of those games were like they're licensed games and licensed games usually denote poor quality. You got the exact opposite of that. Some of the best games on those console generations from those licensed games.
Definitely. Shout out
speaking
to...
of oh man, you're gonna ruin my segue. Go ahead.
Shout out to Stargate, the SNES game as well. That used a lot of the same concepts of the Star Wars trilogy, and also good, but less known.
All right, my segue will still work. Speaking of licensed games, my most anticipated game of the year, Gotham Knights, did get a release date of October 25th of this year, so we don't have to touch on it. But I wrote the outline, so I put it in there.
I just want to say, the only thing I want to say about this game is that I'm still kind of not great, like happy about, because this is the same team that made like
Arkham Origins.
Oh, okay.
Arkham Origins.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Regardless, I'm still not super happy that they're going down the action RPG route with this game, with like, you know, the numbers and like the leveling up and things like in a way where it's not like, you know, like the Batman Arkham games. Granted, that being said, Shadow of Mordor, very similar to the Arkham games, and they did that and they made it work. So, and you know, they're kind of those teams are kind of under the same banner. So hopefully, you know, Gotham Knights takes a lot of like notes from what Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War did with those mechanics and implements them well into Gotham Knights, because I can see that implementation in Gotham Knights go poorly, and I really want that game to be good.
Yeah,
I think they're gonna go the Destiny route. Like, I think that's the idea, is to try and get Destiny, the Robin game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I don't want that
for like, and not you know, not in the way that it's like, you know, magical Destiny, but it is like, hey, we're gonna action RPG it. This is gonna be a game that heavily relies on you playing with your friends and getting together and running through a lot of the same types of missions until you get to, you know,
I don't know
content,
if it will facilitate
kind of
that too much, because it's only one person co-op. So like, I don't know.
Oh, it's not 4-person co-op?
It's only, you can only play with one other people. One other people.
Oh, one other
person.
people?
Yeah, one other people.
Sure. One other people.
Yeah, so you can only play with one other person. So
Which...
I don't know if it's gonna be that like Destiny vibe. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah. All right. So perfect segue, since we're talking about DC here. I am gonna try something here, and I'm gonna say the next game to be ported from the N64 is going to be Superman 64, and they're gonna make it playable.
What about GoldenEye?
Don't hold your breath.
What about GoldenEye? What about the GoldenEye?
Too many licenses. Too many licenses.
But the achievement list leaked. The achievement list leaked. That's pretty. I think that's coming. I think that's coming.
Superman 64.
I hope it's coming. Please don't bring that game back. All right. Speaking of segues, it's time for Test Your Might.
Are we on segues?
Yeah.
Speaking of segues.
All right, guys. The namesake, Test Your Might. You guys ready to duke it out?
Oh yeah.
I guess.
Cam, you ready to duke it out for like the 6th time?
Am I ready to win for the 4th time? Yes. Or for the 5th time, actually. For the 5th time. No, wait. It is 4th time. It is the 4th time.
It'll be 3 times, because you're not winning this time, sir.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Them's fighting words.
It's all good. I'll come in
All
second.
Right. So, Dead Space Remake has incredibly realistic audio features. I don't know if you watched some of that dev stream, but some of that audio was really, really cool. You guys get to choose one game to patch with the most realistic audio. What game are you choosing, and why is it better? Why would it be better implemented in your game over your opponents? Cam, you're our guest. You get to choose the order in which the debate goes. So would you like to go first, second, or third? See, the one thing I've learned with podcasting with Cam the several times I have already is that he is very chess oriented in these debates.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Plays them
Yeah.
out.
Rook.
I will.
That's barbaric. That's the wizard's chess.
I will
jelly,
go. I will go. I'll go first. I'll go first on this one.
All right, go
all
ahead,
right.
Cam.
Who's going second?
Wait. So, Mike, you're the judge this time around?
I am the judge. Yes.
Okay. Justin's gonna go second.
All right.
on this
Cam,
one.
you're up. You're up first. Then, which game are you patching, and why would it be awesome?
I'm gonna go with Red Dead Redemption 2.
Okay. And
Um,
why?
Well, Red Dead Redemption 2 is, in my opinion, the most lived-in open-world game of all time. The attention to detail, the simulation of living out the life of a cowboy, cow person. If you play online, there's, even with Red Dead Online, like, I've never been so immersed in a video game. And I think that Red Dead Redemption 2 being so great as it is it'll just be a game that will just somehow get even better with better audio design, like, because the amount of different things that you can do in that open world, just the general, like, sounds of walking, mounting your horse, running into things, passing trains, like, there's just so much potential in such a vast open world. The way the guns shoot, I think that Red Dead Redemption 2 would be a somehow better game if it got better audio design.
Okay. Red Dead Redemption 2. Justin, you're up.
I think for the fans and the listeners and viewers alike, if I win this debate tonight, they'll be very upset after my Superman prediction. So I'm gonna have fun with it. So I'm gonna shout out a good friend Isaac over at the Infinity Bros, and I'm gonna make him replay this game yet again for when they patched the audio in it. And I'm talking about Skyrim, boys. The sound quality in Skyrim is good, but it could use a lot of work. There has been mods on the cyberwebs to make sounds have weight to them. Things you pick up, things you put down, voices, walking, footsteps, everything's not the same based on weight. And I feel like putting realistic sounds into those will bump that immersion level that you just brought the visuals up with to 11. And I think it'll do good. On to you, Cicero.
All right. Skyrim, The Elder Scrolls.
The 40th anniversary. It's going to be a while. It'll still be coming out, but
It comes out in the 12th anniversary edition. All right, Cicero.
All right. So the question was, how do we take a game and elevate it using sound? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Basically. Yeah.
So, I'm going to take a game and I'm going to elevate it using sound. And the name of that game is Hello Neighbor.
Okay.
you would pick that
right.
game, Makes sense.
Yes.
All right.
So
speak to me.
if you add realistic sound, so Hello Neighbor is supposed to be a really scary game, or it's supposed to be a scary game that is also kind of tongue in cheek. And so it's played for scares, but it's also played for laughs. I want to remove the laughs, right? Because the laughs come with the absurd design elements of the characters that are in the house, but also the, like, ambient sounds that they add to the game, right? Like, they kind of make it spooky, they kind of do, these things, but it's spooky. and not terrifying. If you remove those sounds and all you have are footfalls and creaks and realistic sounds, right? Like realistic, maybe chains rattling or people moaning from downstairs in the basement. Spoiler alert, there's weird stuff in the basement in this creepy dude's house.
Yeah, we know.
If you add those elements, those audio elements to that game, Hello Neighbor stops being Hello Neighbor and starts becoming Alien Isolation.
Not more in my life did I not.
Go ahead.
Not more in my life. I wish I would have went Untitled Goose Game for this question. Go ahead, Cam. Go ahead, rebuttal. It's your turn.
Cam, rebuttal. Go ahead.
So I've actually had to play a little bit of Hello Neighbor because I had to preview Hello Neighbor 2 and I needed to know what I was getting into. And I think that the silence that is in that game is what makes that game a little bit more unsettling. Where there isn't a lot of audio, and I think it works in its favor despite having several other problems with that game. And I think that that is not a game that I think would benefit from better audio design because of that. And I think that Red Dead Redemption 2, and this isn't really to knock off because me and Justin have very similar games and reasons as to why we picked those games. But I do think that Red Dead Redemption 2 is a better pick over Skyrim, is because Red Dead Redemption 2's objective is to create a world of that is supposed to be as one-for-one realism as the real world than any other open world game has. Like, the controls in that game are cumbersome because it is cumbersome to do those actions. Like, mounting a horse is slow in that game because it's cumbersome to mount a horse. You know what I mean? Like, everything that game does, it does with purpose. And I think that the audio design, like adding better audio design to Red Dead Redemption 2, will make that realism even more real. It will benefit the goal of the primary objective that, in my opinion, what Red Dead Redemption 2 tries to do with its open world.
Justin, rebuttal.
Oh, hold on one second. My bad. Yeah, my bad. I just want to say that I was talking about Hello Neighbor 2, not Hello Neighbor. So I don't know if that changes your argument, Cam.
It does not.
But I was... Okay.
It does not.
All right, fair enough. But I was talking about Hello Neighbor 2. Okay.
Hello Neighbor 2. I'm writing a 2 down in my notes, though.
Okay. Fair enough.
Justin, rebuttal.
As do I agree with you, Cam. I think that Hello Neighbor benefits from the silence. I do think that it benefits from those creaky sounds in a game that's built in a way that's supposed to be not believable, but also kind of stressful. I don't think the better sound quality would benefit the atmosphere of the game in a whole. And as well, I agree that both our games do share a lot of similarities when it comes to games that want your immersion level. So I feel like, yes, yours has the realism quality of the gameplay, but mine has more of the fantasy element of walking through the woods and hearing the birds chirping and the swamp beside you bubbling, and you have the dragon in the distance. You have these sound effects that are going to immerse you into this fantasy world in realistic sound effects, even when in the town, and just hearing the voices and the chatter of the crowds in the distance. I think it would affect way more for your immersion level than Red Dead would. Red Dead has fantastic sound quality as it is. I don't think Skyrim has that quite to that point, and I think the big bump with the new visuals that are going on could take this game to the next level. Honestly, I think it could go into the future of.
We got to release Skyrim Anniversary Edition 2.
No,
future.
Yeah, the future.
Cicero, they got a couple dings on you. Rebuttal.
Well, you know what's funny is I guess the dings will be dependent on your perspective, right? Mm-hmm. So let's start with my perspective. My perspective is from the question that was asked, right? And the question that was asked was, I get to patch one game with the most realistic audio, and what game am I choosing? I chose Hello Neighbor 2 as opposed to the 2 games that I'm up against that from the people that have dinged me. And the question that I'll ask, I won't even ask it to Justin or to Cam. I'll ask you, Mike.
Okay.
What game won Best Sound Design in the Game Awards the year that Red Dead Redemption 2 was up for awards?
Red Dead Redemption 2, I'm assuming.
You assume correctly, sir. And what game won Sound Design Awards the year that Skyrim was up for Game of the Year awards?
Are you asking me again? Is this rhetorical?
I'm asking the universe, right? Anyone can answer.
Here's the thing, though. What we're arguing against, like we get the point that you're trying to make here, but we're also arguing that your game fundamentally will change, like the effectiveness of what the game is trying to accomplish.
Exactly. It stops being. So Justin argued for me that the game has quirkiness in it, and it's supposed to be quirky and somewhat scary. What I'm saying is, if you remove that audio and you add more realistic audio, you remove the quirky part and you just add more scary parts to it, and the game stops being Hello Neighbor and starts becoming Alien Isolation, because the quiet becomes even more quiet and the footfalls become more realistic. You remove,
but you're fundamentally changing the game.
Music. Absolutely. And you're making it even scarier.
That's the opposite of the argument, in my opinion.
All right. Well, yeah. And then, so I guess we'll let the judge decide which it is.
I do want to say Skyrim did not win Best Sound.
It didn't?
No, it did not. It was best RPG.
It was nominated.
Wow, so you asked the question and you didn't even know that if the answer was true or not?
It was nominated. It was nominated.
Yeah, I'm just saying that it's kind of faulty here.
It could be. It could be. I'll let the judge decide. The point that I'm making is that these games, the point that I'm making is that the games that you guys have chosen, some of the accolades for them have been their sound design. So changing the sound design and making it more realistic is kind of redundant.
Not when the game's objective is to nail realism, like Red Dead Redemption 2.
Right, but the game is because the game's sound is already realistic enough. Right? Like the last thing I would say that Red Dead Redemption 2 needs is more realistic sound. And quite honestly, it'd be one of the last things I would say about Skyrim is that the sound needs to be more realistic. It sounds like I'm actually there already.
I'm calling it. I gotta call it.
That's all I hear over here from Cicero.
So I have never played Hello Neighbor. But I think Cam hit you with it changing the fundamental reason for the game. And by default, I have to go to Justin because of Cicero's realism argument against Cam's Red Dead Redemption 2, that it's already too real and
there's no such thing as that a thing.
Good. And you want his biggest ding, Cam, I know, was that you won sound design. That game won sound design for the awards that year. So we're going with that.
Cicero hurts you where it hurts.
Here's the thing: I haven't played Skyrim, so I wouldn't know. I was like, oh shit, I don't know how I'm gonna be able to fight against this. So,
all right. We are going Justin's way first because he wins.
All right.
So, Justin, you get to choose the debate order here. Returnal is getting co-op mode. What single-player game? The reason I put this in parentheses is because we know that it's getting a co-op, and I know Justin would bring something up, but no Halo Infinite in our arguments.
I'm not that person.
Would you like to see have a co-op mode? Single-player game, co-op mode.
So I'm I'm gonna let Cicero go first, then I'll come in right behind him. I want to see what he says. If he says what I think he's gonna say, and then Cam can come in last place this time. So switch it up. Keep me in the middle.
Wow, I almost want to ask you what you think I'm going to say.
Oh no, you go ahead. I can't do that.
All right. So what I'm gonna say is, man, I'm just thinking about it, and it is making me smile.
Yeah.
Co-op version of Marvel Spider-Man.
Damn it!
Where one person gets to play as Peter Parker and the other one gets to play as Miles Morales is just an amazing time. Pardon the pun. So amazing that even Cam thought of it as well. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right. Well,
thank you for confirming what I already
I
knew.
love your reaction, Cam. Justin, you said it's going your way next.
Oh yeah, I'll go next so Cam gets a little more time to think of a backup.
Yes.
All right, go ahead, Justin.
So the one I
chess.
thought you were gonna pick was gonna be Hades, because Hades would be great.
That would be awesome.
But I thought of a better one.
Oh, okay.
Hitman.
Let's
Co-op. Now there was I do want to say this right off the bat. There was one mission that released in Hitman 2 that was a sniper mission. You did not do a lot other than snipe, which was well received. But to do all of the missions in co-op with a buddy by going in different ways, seeing the routes of the people walking around, working as a team, I think that would blow the water out of Hitman, and that would make Hitman a bigger game than it already is. For sure, especially with that comic book coming soon. Yeah, Hitman. Cam, you ready over there?
I see a chair.
Dr. Evil, do it.
Turns around.
Cam, your choice. Single player game, co-op mode.
I'm gonna have to go with maybe the most obvious choice. Pokemon.
Ooh.
Come on now. Growing up, how badly did you want to pair up with your friend, go on a Pokemon adventure, even if it was like online, like 2v2 multiplayer team battles, there's just so much potential in making a Pokemon co-op experience. I think that the idea, I remember as a kid, and I know this isn't a 1-for-1 with co-op, but I remember as a kid looking up fan-made Pokemon MMOs where you could play with friends and just do Pokemon battles and things like that. And I think that Pokemon has if the Pokemon company wasn't so scared to do different things, I think that a Pokemon co-op game would be very successful, and I want it. That's what I want. You know what I mean?
Now, I'm not going to hold this in your argument when I'm judging, but which Pokemon game would you choose to add co-op to?
I think that it would be... See, if it had to be based off of a specific game, I think the one that makes...
I'm going to take the franchise as a whole for your argument, but I just want to know, I'm just curious which one you would add it to.
Oh, I would like it to be like an idea where you kind of... Which is something that I think that they could do a single player too, but you kind of start in Kanto and you go through all the regions.
Okay, cool. I like it.
Yeah.
All right, Cicero, rebuttal.
Okay, what was Justin? What was your game?
Hitman.
Hitman, right? Okay, because you had me at Hades. I was just like, oh wow, yeah, that was awesome. But Mike, I don't envy your adjudicating in this instance. 3
great choices.
Because I think these are 3 great choices. But even in a race amongst world-class sprinters, someone comes in first. And that person happens to have the choice that upset someone else that they weren't able to make that choice, Cam realizes that the obvious choice is Spider-Man because it's right there. You've got these two characters. If you've had a chance to play one or both of those games, you know how phenomenal those games are. And like, it's not even just with this developer with this particular franchise. The two previous superhero-like franchises that they built previous to this, people were clamoring for co-op modes for them in Infamous and Sunset Overdrive. Like, how awesome that would be. But now you've got two established characters that people know and love in a game franchise that is phenomenal. Just imagine the type of game that you'd be able to make with both Spider-Men being able to fly and swing through Manhattan and face off against multiple villains. And to play Spider-Man with another buddy on the couch or across the internet is a dream come true.
Justin.
I do agree that the concept sounds great for the argument here. Unfortunately, I don't agree, though. I think Insomniac has even been on the record saying that the next Spider-Man will not have co-op because these games are built as single-player experiences, and I see them as that. The stories are written for a single-player element. Now, Cam's is a great choice. You know, you can have dual fights with trainers all day long, and it's been done before. And to have a buddy to go through Pokemon, that sounds great. And as well as Hitman, the story elements wouldn't change much other than you're having another person. It would work very nice to have that work with the game itself as is. Now, this is about what single player game that's already out would benefit from co-op. And Spider-Man, unfortunately, wouldn't, because the story isn't driven towards that. The story is driven as a single player experience. So Pokemon and Hitman are really the only contenders here in my book. Sorry, Cicero.
You know, it's, I guess it's a good thing that the book is Mike's and not yours, Justin.
Well, I'm just saying.
Cam, rebuttal.
See, I would say that Hitman is the one that is like that makes the least amount of sense for co-op. I think that Hitman, like, the story is single player, and there is a story, at least in this like latest trilogy. And they're level based, and there is a story to them. And I think that having co-op, Hitman, Agent 47 is supposed to be like a perfectionist when it comes to making his hits. And I think that having co-op mode in that would make that attempt to kind of do a perfect assassination harder. Because you are now trying to incorporate another person and what they're trying to do, even with communication involved. Like, I think it would be a harder thing to accomplish. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I just think it's less likely. And I think that with Pokemon, we are at a time now where it's kind of almost to the point of inexcusable that there hasn't been something with co-op involved, even especially like with seeing like Arceus Legends recently. Like, if there was any game I had to base it off of, it would probably be Arceus Legends, because Arceus Legends is kind of like Monster Hunter, and Monster Hunter is a great co-op game. And just being able to adventure together and be like, and you see like a Pokemon, you see like and Totodile, right? And you're like, oh, it's Totodile, and it's just sorry. And you see Totodile, and it's just like, hey, do you have Totodile yet? And they're like, oh no, I don't. Like, go get it. Like, and like, let me help you. And there's like some sort of like, mechanic. Like, it doesn't have to be like a straight up like, battle, 2v2 battle situation, but like there could be like some sort of assist system, you know what I mean? Where you can like help them the chances of catching them, or you could potentially distract them, distract a Pokemon while the other person is trying to actually get them as a part of the Pokedex to catch them. there's so much opportunity and potential depending on which way that like the Pokemon company would want to go with co-op. That and I think that I think that Pokemon definitely has the potential.
Now,
So
I would like to agree with you. It does have the potential, but unfortunately, Pokemon's been doing. Now, I don't want to blow a hole in your ship, but Pokemon's been doing this since 2016 with Pokemon Go. There has been collaborations of people.
it's not the same.
People working together, which
same.
is what you described, to accomplish a goal and to help catch creatures, which is what Pokemon Go is all about.
Pokemon Go, like you can do the raids together to take down the legendaries, but I wouldn't consider that a co-op mode, which is what the question.
I agree. It's not the same. I'm disqualifying that argument. Cicero, final statement?
Yeah. So I will just say that I think these guys both made great arguments. However, the one fundamental thing that they're missing is what the tenets of their games are, right? And that is, in Pokemon, they're saying that you are the one, right? You are the one person who can be the number one Pokemon trainer.
In the first game. And
every game since then has been the same.
No.
Right?
No.
All right, well, to be fair, the only Pokemon I ever played were the first games.
Oh yeah.
So,
after that, they
right?
do
But
not
then-
do that again.
But then I like turned it on. I turned on the next one, and it was like, oh, this is the exact same game as the game I played before. It's like exactly the same. But you're like, the goal is for you to be the number one trainer. The one and in Hitman, your goal is to be. You are the one. You are Agent 47. There isn't a 48. 46 sucked. 47 is it. And in Spider-Man is the one, right? He is Spider-Man, but he's not like it's not like he's the chosen one. He just happens to be the dude who's got the powers that does the job, and he clearly, openly welcomes the help, right? Like he doesn't want people to hurt themselves, but he wants the help. So having Miles incorporated into the Spider-Man game makes the most sense out of the three, right? He's already there. We see them together at certain points in one or two of the games. Let them play together at the same time with your friend, and it makes the most sense canonically for it to happen.
One quick thing
out of all three games.
One quick thing I want to say. First off, the whole Spider-Man wants help from people, that is completely based off of your interpretation of Peter Parker. Second off, Pokemon. You're talking about Pokemon mainline games. There's so many spin-offs. There's so many other ways to implement
Shuffle.
co-op that isn't. Yeah, there are so many ways to implement Pokemon like co-op mode to Pokemon that doesn't have to be in the mainline games.
Snap would be cool.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess considering that the judge is giving you the entire franchise for which to play, then you are correct.
But he did specify Legends Arceus, and so I'm kind of going to base it a little bit on that as well. So I'm calling the arguments here. Justin, they just dinged you too much, man. I'm sorry. They really got you too much. So I do think it's between Cicero and Cam. Now, Cam, Cicero chose the game that you were going to choose. I don't know what your argument was for Spider-Man, but he did. Now, Cam, you had this awesome Monster Hunter angle, and I haven't played Arceus, but I do know that a lot of people are loving the catching design and everything like that. So this one's hard. I think I got to give it to Cicero just because he took your game initially, and I think your heart was there, and I do think that Cicero's argument was really good, and it's already built into the infrastructure of what they wanted to bring their franchise to. So
yeah, there was a point on what Justin said where I wanted to rebuttal for Cicero. It's just gonna be a wave mode of just Peter and Miles just. It doesn't have to be in the story,
right.
All right.
Yeah.
So that means Cicero and Justin got 1 point on the board. Let's see if Cam can get there. So Cicero, you get to choose the.
Listen,
debate.
I'm not saying that there's starting to be a bias here that Mike's lost 3 times now, and now he's the judge and he's trying to make me lose.
I was the judge one of those games. I was the judge one of those episodes.
Were you?
I think so. Maybe.
I don't know. I don't think you were.
First of all, there is absolutely no bias.
No. There's no foul play. There's no foul. No,
Let's see the non-bias on this next one.
Right.
All right.
Good luck.
Yeah, if you don't pick my favorite Mario game, you lose.
Right.
No. Anyway, this past week was March 10th, so aka Mario Day. So what is the best Mario game of all time? Now, Cicero, you won the debate, so you get to choose said order for said debate.
Okay. You know what? I am going to do it in this order. I'm going to give Cam the first choice. So he's got the breadth of games from which to choose. I am going to allow Justin to go second. And I will go last since I was the first of the 4 of us to ever play a Mario game.
It's facts. He was 25 when Star Wars came out.
That's true.
Cam, your choice. What is the? Why don't we go around and say your choice, and then we'll come back for arguments. So, what's your choice,
Cam? I'm picking from the heart here, in the sense of like this is a game that I think that is really, 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 really good. And I don't think it gets a lot of love, enough love. And I think I have a strong argument as to why it can be argued as the best. And that is Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga.
All
right. Superstar Saga. Okay. Justin, what is your choice?
It's taken me a long time to pick through the Mario games that have been released because they're in everything. Every day of the week they're doing something different. And I decided to go with something that I enjoyed all the way till the end multiple times. And that's going to be Super Mario Galaxy, the first one for the Wii.
The first one. Okay.
Okay.
And Cicero, your choice.
What? I'm sorry, Justin. What was your
Mario
name?
Paint. No, it was no. Super Mario Galaxy, the original.
Oh, okay. All right. So Super Mario Galaxy.
Just wanted to see him fight and ding
choice.
that.
Great choice. Yeah, great choice. It was definitely one of the games that I was thinking about in terms of really pulling out a great Mario title. But I'm gonna go with Paper Mario.
Okay.
Wow.
All right, Cam. Opening salvo, opening argument. Let's hear it for Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. I have played this game.
I want to.
So go ahead.
Yes, I am about to spit bars. Then, okay. So
I played the original.
For those that, well, that is the original.
This is the original.
No, I'm talking about Super Mario RPG.
Oh, yeah. That's still a good game. Anyway, I'm actually surprised no one picked Super Mario RPG. Anyway, so Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga is, I think, the best interpretation of the Mario characters. It is funny. It is very self-aware. I think that it's a very refreshing game because it doesn't take place in the Mushroom Kingdom. It's in the Bean Kingdom, and you're running into like all these new characters. This is like the first game where we really see Luigi as like his own character, and the game recognizes that and plays with that a lot. Like you'll run into like a character in like the beginning of the game, they'll be like, "You're Luigi, right? You're Mario's brother." Like because Mario's just this renowned figure, but then like Luigi's just Mario's brother, like Green Mario, and
Green Mario.
Yeah, basically, and it's really refreshing that like Bowser isn't the main villain in this game. I think like you just go through a vast, and this is something that's like in all Mario games, but I think that the game has great pacing. There's like, I think only one time in that entire game where I felt like I was stuck somewhere in an RPG, which I feel like doesn't happen very often in that genre. Which I'm specifically talking about, Mike, the part where you're trying to find the Yoshis. That part specifically was kind of like a wall there, but after like again, the rest of the game, it just kind of flew by, and I was really obsessed with it in a way that I just don't really get with Mario games of any genre. And I think that the music is phenomenal. Yoko Shimomura does no wrong. I love the charm and personality that the game has. Like, when you're deciding what Mario and Luigi should do, they're doing a little dance to the music. Like, they know that the music is playing. And just the way that they incorporate the mechanics of like being able to, you know, of the original 2D platformer, you hop on to items, and if you like do it correctly, it'll do more damage, and it'll like bounce over to Luigi, and then Luigi can try and do it. There's just so much love and care in this game that respects the Mario series while still doing its own take and, you know, implementing its own mechanics into the genre, where I just don't like. I've played the Paper Mario games, and I really enjoy them. I think they're great. Well, like the traditional RPG ones are great, and I'm not gonna like rebuttal against that yet. But I think that when it comes to respecting the history, but then still doing something new and fresh in its own way, I think that this game does it better than any other.
Justin, Mario Galaxy.
So, Mario and Luigi sounds awesome. It sounds like a great game, and I would love to play it because I love the original, the RPG on the Super Nintendo. And just like Mario and Luigi does, is it tries to implicate something new. You know, you get the Bean World with Super Mario
Kingdom.
The Kingdom, yeah, with the Beanians. And in Mario Galaxy, you've got the whole concept of gravity and moving around planets to explore your environment. So that's kind of the new aspect of it. Yeah, you're fighting some of the same characters across these planets that you're jumping between, but the movement is what's different. So you're able to learn while playing as well, which is great. That's why I love Portal. That's why I love these science-y games, which I guess science-y is kind of a word. But,
yeah,
you know, the science involved.
Hey, you're not the judge.
Thanks, Cicero. The physics involved with it, you know, you've got the gravity sense is great. And, you know, which one is the best game out of these three? It's going to be a hard pick for you, Mike, because, you know, on paper, Galaxy got the best ratings. But it's really from a standpoint of our arguments. So I don't even want that to be in the argument. So I will take the fact that mine got a 98 or a 97 out of the running. I don't care about the scores. I want to talk about which one of these games, these three games, is the best Mario game. So Paper Mario, fantastic, and they made Origami on the Switch just recently. They're both great games, and they change up the formula, which I applaud. You know, instead of the same old Mario gameplay, you're getting a different take on it. So Mike, this is going to be difficult for you. And all these games are fantastic, and they all give their own little bits of Mario fan you know, change. So, you know, I think it's Galaxy just for the fact of approachability for children. You know, it's not straight RPG. It's not, well, Paper Mario is great as well. I can't really ding that for the approachability aspect. You know, with a Wiimote and a nunchuck, you're moving around, jumping, shaking to spin. It's very simple controls, and it's very approachable for kids. And it's colorful. It's definitely colorful. Go ahead, Cicero.
All right. Well, I mean, you've basically kind of set up my game. I think Paper Mario is great because, well, so was that Super Mario Saga is a great RPG, and the thing about it is, and actually Super Mario RPG is a good RPG, right? And the reason I didn't pick Super Mario RPG is because while that game was good and it served as something different in the world of Mario and the types of games that we had historically seen from that franchise, from the Mario franchise at large, it did a good job of mimicking what people knew an RPG to be. Paper Mario, on the other hand, was an RPG, full stop, right? And this was the game, the polish and the innovation in Paper Mario is what allowed Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga to exist. That game, I completely believe that game would not have been created. It would not have been greenlit if it weren't for the fact that Paper Mario was such a success. That they felt confident that they could make another RPG, like, hardcore RPG featuring Mario and Luigi if Paper Mario didn't exist. The other thing about Paper Mario is Paper Mario played with design, right? So you had 3D portions where this 2D paper cutout character would move in 3 dimensions. But then there were other portions where it was important for him to be able to move in 2 dimensions. And like, that was awesome to be able to experience that in a Mario game for the very first time. Like, that was different and innovative in a way that no one was expecting. And to add on top of that, the RPG elements so late into the Nintendo 64's life cycle. What a Paper Mario. Just GOAT status, baby.
Cam, little rebuttal here. We'll do one round of rebuttals and then go into the next fight.
Okay, so regarding Mario Galaxy is a great game, but for me, it is just another Mario game in a new setting. Like, granted, they add new things, like they add new mechanics and like there's like the bee suit and things like that, but it wasn't anything like, it's not. It was a game where I played. I was just like, I get this. Like, I get why people think this game is special, but there's like, first off, the motion controls in that game, they're really bad. And I think that Mario Galaxy 2, a lot of the faults that the first game had, or like issues that people had with the first game, like the giant, like, space hub between missions and things like that. They simplified it. They made it more accessible. They made it, generally better. That I think that, In Mario's case, most sequels are better than the original, and I think that this is kind of the case for Galaxy, in my opinion. And with Paper Mario, like, I get that Paper Mario was likely fundamental in the potential of like Mario and Luigi and things like that, but like, I think that's a really, like, and this is in all games, I think that's a really weak argument that I don't really care about. Like, oh, if it wasn't for Breath of the Wild, Elden Ring wouldn't exist. I'm just like, so? Like, it exists, though. Like, who cares? Like, Breath of the Wild wouldn't exist without Shadow of the Colossus. I'm not saying that Shadow of the Colossus is a better game than, like, insert game, like, it's just, that is a fact that it exists, sure, but it doesn't make the game better. It doesn't make the game, like, it just doesn't make the game better, because normally when things that are released that are inspired by other games, they're better versions of them, and so, like, for me, that doesn't really hold any weight. And like, and similar to Super Mario Galaxy, Thousand Year Door is like better in almost every way, so in my opinion. And I haven't, like, at least from what the amount that I played. Mm-hmm. I unfortunately never got to finish Thousand Year Door. But yeah, it's like, these are both great Mario games, but I think that, like, there are sequels that make them better, and I know that Mario and Luigi has them as well, but I've played them and I'm just like, they're missing things. And I think that like Superstar Saga is one of those rare instances. Bowser's Inside Story, also very, very good. Very, very good. But I think that Superstar Saga, it just had everything. And I also think that this is also a really great, like, I don't want to say baby's first RPG, but like this is a great beginning RPG for kids. Like, I think that I mean, one, it's Mario, so people are gonna have that attraction there. But again, the pacing, very, very good. I feel like whenever I needed like a save spot, it was there. Like the moment I'm like, oh, I really wish that there's a save spot soon, and then shortly after it pops up, and it like has that accessibility to make it not feel like a slog, which a lot of RPGs can easily make itself, like, you know, itself feel. And I just don't get that with this game. It really was a game that I went into not really expecting much outside of like, oh, this is a turn-based JRPG, I want to play this series, and I just was enamored by it. And I think that there's just so much creativity, so much variety in enemy types as well, and items, and just everything. It just has everything. And I know it's not like your traditional 2D or 3D platforming Mario game, but I don't think that really matters when everything just works.
Justin, rebuttal, final.
I'm going to take this time to defend mine a little bit. The motion controls in Galaxy had no issues whatsoever. Most of the movement was done through the nunchuck and the joystick on the nunchuck itself, and then the A button on the Wiimote. You would have the only motion control that you really used was to collect star bits with the pointer, kind of like you would point it at the screen and it would collect the star bits, and then you would also use it to shoot Mario through space through these little rings of stars. So I feel.
What about when you're standing on the lava balls and you're like trying to balance yourself? That happens a lot, and it's terrible.
That I don't think that's the game that you're thinking of.
No, it is in Galaxy. Yes, it's in Galaxy.
All right, Cam, I'm gonna hold you there. Like, keep going, Justin.
Other than that, Galaxy is the only one out of these three that is multiplayer available as well. So you're able to have your brother or sister or your friend near you play as well to collect bits and actually help Mario jump increase. So you could jump higher with your friend playing. You would shoot these bits at enemies and stun them. So your friend could be mainly just shooting enemies to stun them and help you progress through levels as you play. The approachability element of this game is where a big difference is as well. So when people sit down and they want to play a Mario game, they're not sitting down to play an RPG like the other two. You're sitting down to play a Mario game, pop out a few levels, and get out. Or sit down for family time, play levels, get out. You're not learning a story other than what's directly thrown at you through the Mario storyline. It's not reading dialogue. It's not, turn-based fighting or whatever else is in RPG games that were listed from these other two. So I feel like that is a big win on that half. That's all I got.
Cicero,
you got it.
Final rebuttal.
Yeah, so the other two games don't have it where an enemy starts turning black and white when they're close to death. So it's awesome. Excuse me. Super Paper Mario is not Super Paper Mario, just Paper Mario. Fantastic game. It's the foundation. It is a thing that I know Cam doesn't necessarily appreciate. Foundationary things. And I can respect that perspective, but I like to be able to say, I can see the DNA in the thing that you have from this thing that I have. And you can't know where you're going until you know where you've been. And you can't know about Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga unless you can acknowledge Paper Mario and really understand that and understand what pieces of the game that you love came from the game that I love.
All right, I'm calling it. So the real answer is Mario Odyssey.
No,
But
absolutely not.
excuse me. I'm the judge here.
Okay, so Cameron doesn't win this round. So it goes.
Actually, no. These two had nothing on your argument, Cam. Your opening salvo was way too good, and your rebuttals were just as good. So
I said I was going to spit bars.
yes.
You might be
Yeah, Cam
thinking
got that one.
of Galaxy 2, by the way. Because Galaxy 1 doesn't have anything in the controls at all about balancing the Wiimote. The only...
Regardless, Galaxy 2 is better, and Cam called you out on it. So Cam got that one.
That would make it worse.
Okay.
So it's a tiebreaker?
It is a tiebreaker, and
Nice.
we have a new version of Blind Fight.
Oh.
Gentlemen, we are introducing a new version, and it is called the Celebrity Blind Fight.
Uh-oh.
And this is not a celebrity death match. It is the same version of Blind Fight. You guys just don't know the question, but the question is from a celebrity.
Oh.
So,
Okay. Is it... okay. Who's the
I'm
celebrity?
excited.
Is this best waifu? Is this best video game waifu?
No.
Oh man, I was like, wait, Raw Power speaks.
I'll question if it's a celebrity. Go.
So I asked friend of the show, Mr. Spawn on Me himself, Khalif Adams, to provide our Blind Fight today, and
Definitely a celebrity.
you guys
All
will
right.
be debating the best character in Street Fighter. Now, this is not a celebrity deathmatch style, as he has stated. It is just a straight-up best fighter. And you guys get to choose one Street Fighter character, and that's where you're arguing. Cam, you won the last argument, which means you
I'm
get
going
to choose
last.
you get to
Sorry.
choose the order. He's going,
I'm going
last.
I'm
So
gonna have
who's
I'm
going
gonna have
first?
Cicero go first. I'm gonna have Cicero go
Okay.
first.
This is
Right,
all
well-
all Street Fighter across all of Street Fighter.
All of Street
Yeah.
Fighter. You get to
This
choose
is
one
across-
fighter.
One fighter across all of Street Fighter. Really, I mean, there's only one choice. And, guys, you remember your first love. And I remember mine fondly. Right? And she would say, spinning round kick.
Chun-Li.
Because she is Chun-Li.
All right.
Yes.
Cam, are you going second or third? You said last. Okay, so Justin, you're next.
I do want to say, I barely played Street Fighter. Like, barely to never played Street Fighter. I was a Mortal Kombat kid.
Oh, wow.
But I do have a memorable character that I remember playing as when I did. And I would have dyed my hair orange for this because I'm going with Blanca.
Blanca.
And that's all I got.
Okay.
Go ahead, Cam.
Cam.
So are we going with fighter as in like their mechanics, or are we going about like with their backstory and stuff?
Well, here's the thing.
Or is it up to
You-
interpretation?
Up to your interpretation. Because we're running out of time, you will only get one opening salvo, no rebuttals. So you choose how you interpret your argument. So Cam, who's your character you're choosing, and then we'll swing it back to Cicero for one opening argument.
Okay.
I am gonna go. I'm gonna go with. Sorry. I'm gonna go with. Ken.
Ken.
I was giving you some Street Fighter music while you were deciding.
All right, Cicero, one argument. You may include like rebuttals within your argument against
Okay,
Blanca and Ken.
so Blanca and Ken, right? So Blanca's a goofy mutant who knows what's going on over there. But he is from Brazil, which is awesome. Ken is generic. Like Ken is like saying, "Oh, who's the best X-Men?" and you're like Cyclops. Well done. You should have picked Ryu because Ryu's better than Ken, even though they're exactly the same. However, Chun-Li is dope, right? Like Chun-Li is dope. First off, right? Not only is Chun-Li the character dope, right? And she's got huge thigh muscles, incredibly athletic. She can invert herself and fly through the air, kicking people in the face. She defies gravity and physics. But not only that, but she is so dope that she was played by Ming-Na Wen, and she was played by Lana Lang. So, like, it really doesn't get any better than that, right? Like, duh. It's Chun-Li.
All right, that's your opening argument and only argument. Justin,
that's
Blanca.
Correct. It's the only argument I need.
Cicero kind of did himself in because the character that Cicero chose, one of her dislikes is literally people who can't get to the point. And Cicero was just rambling about everything he could think of within his argument, which is completely against his character. My character, big feral man, yeah, he might be a mutant, but all he doesn't like is army ants. And who doesn't like army ants? Everybody. Army ants everywhere, whatever. Get rid of them. He is a big dude, and he'll take your face off because he is from Brazil. And you know, he's got the power. He's got electric power in those fists. He's a big guy. You know, he was separated. He hates being separated from his mother, apparently. And people who wear masks. He hates people who wear masks. So, yeah. You know, his real name was Jimmy, by the way. Jimmy. And he hates army ants.
And half his argument is from the Wikipedia article.
I don't play Street Fighter, so there you go.
Cam, your one argument. Include your rebuttals.
Yeah, so first thing, Ken's last name is Masters. That's pretty cool. Second off, you know, in almost any story where, you know, the main character has a you know, an equal rival to them, normally the rival is cooler than them. And I think that's the case for Ken when it comes to Ryu and Ken. And I think that, like, Cicero was just kind of talking about, like, Chun-Li is, like, has that iconicness to her, obviously. But, like, whoever, like, and I love Ming-Na Wen, but, like, her playing Chun-Li has nothing to do with Chun-Li being a good character.
Who's to say?
You know. So with that in mind, there's that. Blanca, yeah, I'm with Cicero. Like, Blanca's just like some green dude that like that makes inaudible noises, and like the lightning's cool, but like outside of that, it's Blanca. Like it's just this like Blanca exists, and that's about it. And what I'll also say about Ken is that I think that what's really cool about Ken in his character arc is that after he wins the World Warrior tournament, he's like, I'm done fighting. I'm moving to America and I'm settling down with my girlfriend. We're getting married, we're having a kid, and I'm done. And I think that's really, really cool. While like Ryu is just like, I just need to get stronger. I just need to be the best. Like Ken's like, being his rival's like, nah, I'm good. I did what I had to do, and I'm gonna live a normal life and kind of get out of this mess before I'm too far into it. I think that that's a really, you know, for a fighting game, that's a pretty compelling character arc for someone, where everyone else is just more like, I want to be the best at what I do, or I'm evil and I want to destroy everything. Ken is the one that's just like, nah, I'm good. I'm gonna start a family. And you know, and while he does show up in other games, it's more or less to find Ryu or get Ryu out of some he put himself into. So I think that Ken is the coolest Street Fighter character for those reasons.
All right. Now, Justin, your ding against Chun-Li was really good. But
That was a good ding.
I just don't think you brought enough for Blanca into the argument.
He's orange. And I don't play
So
Street
it
Fighter.
is going to be. I know it is going to be between Cicero and Cam. Now, Cicero went the gameplay angle, how Chun-Li does a gameplay, and Cam went more into the route of story. Now, Cicero, your biggest ding against Ken was that he was generic. And I believe Cam disproved that ding. So, Cam, you are today's winner again. I think your argument was a little bit too sound for Cicero's in the end.
The 4-peat.
Honking believable.
Exactly. That's
believable.
you know, I want to talk.
No more
to
guests. We lose every time.
The honking council of elders.
All right, Cam, good job. Welcome back.
Welcome back to the winner's circle.
I need there needs to be a Hall of Fame, and I need to be the first the first initiate.
And first entrant into the Hall of Fame. He'll have 6 rings, but 2 rings.
Yeah.
If you like third rings.
All right. Well, thank you once again. Shout out to Khalif Adams for providing that debate. Thank you so much, buddy. And yeah, we're gonna move straight into leaderboard now. Let's try to make this go a little bit quick. You're gonna name 2 games that you believe. I was picking between 3 and 2. You're gonna pick 2 games that have the greatest sound design to you. Okay, and then we will go from there. So, Cam, again, you're our guest. So pick 2 games that have the best sound design, and we will develop the top 6 list here for our leaderboard section.
I'm gonna go with Kingdom Hearts, the original Kingdom Hearts, and man, I actually don't know about the second one. I think I'm gonna go with sound design, right? So it's not like not music per se. Oh man, I think
music plays into it though. If you want to kind of think that route too, because Kingdom Hearts, like sound design wise, I think the music more so than anything else.
That's why Red Dead Redemption got the award, right?
I would. I mean, the music is still great in Kingdom Hearts, but I think that the audio, like the sound design, like the item get sound and like those type of things, like those things are like, and I feel like you gotta like, I don't see the thing is like I'm not big into the franchise, but I feel like a Zelda game's got to be on there.
Okay, so which Zelda
I don't know
would you
what
choose?
Zelda. I mean like.
Breath of the Wild?
I mean, the last one I really played was Wind Waker. But, like, I don't know if I would pick Wind Waker.
Okay.
But
I have a specific Zelda game in mind for my 2.
Okay.
If
then
you want to choose a different franchise.
Let's go with... I'm sorry. Ooh, what about... Let's go Halo 3. Let's go Halo 3.
Okay.
All right.
Halo 3. I'm cool with that.
All right, cool. So shout out to Joe, shout out to Jelly. I was going to pick Ocarina of Time.
Look at that.
Yeah, I think it has
all right.
I think it has
Wait,
wonderful
I actually want to replace Halo 3 with Pokemon Crystal.
Pokemon Crystal. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the game that should get the realistic sound effects.
Cam, I love you for it because Halo Infinite actually has some of the best sound design I've ever heard in a video game as far as gun sounds, the grapple shot,
it's good.
It's all there. So
love it when a plan comes together.
Yeah, came out perfectly, Cam. Thank you. Justin, your 2 games.
Number 1, just got a nice new upgrade patch. Hellblade. The sound design in that game with headphones and Atmos with voices from every corner of your head. blown away.
Yeah.
Cam's upset.
I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. Like, so I had this planned out from the beginning, and I'm stupid, and I forgot what the second game was. My actual pick for realsies this time is Persona 5 Royal.
Persona 5 Royal. Okay.
That is for realsies.
It still works out.
Yeah. Sorry. The audio design
It's
of that
okay.
game
Is it Royal or Royale? Yeah, it's Royal.
Royal.
We've done it so
Royal.
many times that it's kind of like deja vu. You'll forget things. It's okay.
Right.
Yeah. All right, Justin, your second choice.
Oh, this is good. The Veil, Shadow of the Crown.
Isn't that audio only game?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's cool.
Accessibility to the max. You use the
All right,
entire
The
sound
Veil.
as the gameplay.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Isn't there a game that's the opposite of that,
There's no
where
sound.
it uses your camera for like
Before
you're
your eyes.
deaf?
Before your eyes.
There we go. Okay.
No, you're not deaf, but it's you progress with the story by
Oh,
blinking.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Cicero.
I've played it. It's pretty good.
The original Pac-Man on Atari
Ooh.
2600. No. I'm
Oh,
joking.
okay.
That is not my game. That game.
It came
that
out when
game
you were 50. It's
sounds
okay.
Right. Yeah. It wasn't even that good. It
This
was
is Pac-Man.
It was right. The one in the arcade was better. 2600 was really bad. But my first game is Elite Dangerous.
Gonna miss those patches.
It is hands down the greatest experience ever I've ever had in VR.
Really?
And part of that is the sound design. It is something to behold.
Yeah.
Even outside of VR, the sound design is great, but inside, like it never had anything more immersive than that. My second game, you know what? Let's add this with a wink. Red Dead Redemption 2.
All right,
Let's
Red
go.
Dead 2.
Hey, it did win awards, so
Yeah, it did. So Cam has Kingdom Hearts and Persona 5 Royal. I have Ocarina of Time and Halo Infinite. Hellblade and the Veil Shadow of the Crown for Justin, and Elite Dangerous Red Dead 2 for Cicero. Cam, you get one choice from your list as a guaranteed on our leaderboard. So which one you choosing?
I gotta pick Kingdom Hearts, and like not even because like I'm a big Kingdom Hearts guy, but like that I feel like Kingdom Hearts in a lot of ways is one like the last like real big JRPG to come out and stick around. You know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
and granted that's because Disney is a big factor in that, but still, and like that game does have a lot of original audio design things, like the ching when you get a new item, and like the way the keyblade hits, like when you hit someone, and like and I'm also pretty sure like if I remember correctly, I should know this, but like depending on what keyblade you have, the sound is different. Like you know, like those are the kind of like details that I think is really really cool. And like Kingdom Hearts is like kind of like the last game like that I feel of like an action oriented genre that has that kind of attention to detail.
no, if you didn't pick that, I was gonna fight for it for sure.
My choice is Halo Infinite. I do believe that Ocarina of Time could potentially still make this list. So Joe, sorry, I'm not going to choose it as my guarantee, but Halo Infinite has some of the best sound design that I've ever felt in a video game. Justin, your choice.
So
I feel like it's got to be Hellblade, right?
No, because Hellblade is going to be easily fought for. The Veil will not, because you guys haven't experienced the Veil and I have. So the Veil has to be on there. Chess game, right?
Okay.
Chess game. Cicero.
Everyone's using the same logic. Elite Dangerous.
I would have fought for that.
Okay, so we have two more spots.
Right.
So
This is hard.
Which
This is hard.
Well,
ones, you guys?
Red Dead. It won awards.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in agreement with Red Dead, obviously. But I'm also going to make this argument, right? When sound design is iconic, when
touches your soul.
When sound effects removed from the game, evoke an emotion, right?
Yes.
Evoke the emotion that they would inside the game, and for that reason, I'm going to argue for Ocarina of Time. There are so many iconic sound effects that come from Zelda that people use in their everyday lives. If I say dun 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 dun, everybody knows that something great has just happened to me.
Yeah.
Right? And for that reason, I'll vote for Ocarina of Time, and not only because I love Joe Kelly.
Yeah, again, I'm not even a Zelda person, and it's got to be Ocarina of Time. That's got to be on there.
Right.
Justin, are you okay with that? It's on my list, so I'm okay.
I would have put
I
Link
guess
to the Past
majority
on there.
rules. So
I would have put. Link,
I mean, it's majority vote.
Link to the Past, honorable mention.
Right.
all right. What's our last slot? Red Dead.
Red Dead
Hellblade?
2.
Well, hold on. Let me talk about
Right.
Persona for a second.
Yeah, go ahead. Go for it.
So I
Go
think
for it.
that like it's hard. Persona would be in that realm of what we're talking about with Zelda and Kingdom Hearts, with the kind of item noises and like the menu noises and all that stuff. If enough people played Persona is a pretty niche game still. Like, I think that if 3 out of 4 of us played Persona 5 Royal here, Persona 5 Royal would be put on this list. We would get that majority vote. But because of that, it's really hard to fight for something that y'all haven't heard or like understand the context of.
Right.
But like, we know that Hellblade is something that was heavily designed around the audio design and things like that. So I'm okay with taking the L and putting Hellblade on the list because I think that makes a lot of sense.
You know, I also want to fight for Hellblade. I don't know if you played it with like good headphones on, the rest of you, but I did. And you hear those voices of all the different characters, and then the overwhelming boom of her father just like hitting through your skull, and it strikes emotion, and it puts you in the mind state of what they were trying to achieve, and they did. And the story is great. You know, it's compelling, and the sound quality immerses you so well with a good pair of headphones while you play it. So I'm all for Hellblade, honestly. And Persona, I'm sure, is great as well. I do agree. I've heard great things. I just haven't had time. I haven't gotten around to playing it.
Cicero, are you okay with Hellblade? Do they make some convincing?
Yeah, I mean, the arguments make sense. Like, all of these guys have played Red Dead. We all agree that Red Dead is great. Cam has already argued. You don't? Oh, really? You don't think Red Dead is great, or you haven't played it?
Sound design, probably. I didn't like the game.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's
I think
hear.
exactly. Cam has already argued that the sound design was fantastic. I think we all are in agreement when it comes to that. But if these guys, having played Red Dead and knowing what it is, still pick Hellblade over Red Dead, then I'm willing to trust their assessments and their opinions.
Then that is our leaderboard. We have Kingdom Hearts, Halo Infinite, The Veil Shadow of the Crown, Elite Dangerous, Ocarina of Time, and Hellblade in no particular order. But just for our guest, I put Kingdom Hearts at 1.
For our champ.
It's all good.
For our champ.
All right. Well, hey, this has been Test Your Might Order 66.
No.
Execute
episode
66.
What? No, we're still sticking around. Cam, where can our listeners find you? Just one quick plug before we head out.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at CamFinalMix, and then Unlocking Kingdom Hearts podcast services, and on YouTube. I assume the video, the link to the video version will be in the video description.
Yeah, I will get all the links down below for his podcast feed as well as his YouTube channel where the video versions are. And so, Justin, you can find at rubberduck_2500 on Twitter. Cicero, you can find him at Stubby Stan. I'm at Stay at Home Gamer, where the O in home is a 0. And this has been Test Your Might 66, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Deuces. Nope, I stopped the recording. I got it. I cut it. I got it out. Stopped it immediately.